So what is sequence? What were sequences? The sequence is also a database object created to generate sequence numbers. Okay. So a sequence is a database object created to generate sequence numbers. Okay. So it is a database object created to generate sequence numbers. So they are mainly used to auto increment column values. Sequences are mainly used to auto increment column values. Okay. Means there is a column. That column value should be automatically incremented. Mainly primary key columns. There is a column ID is there. But this ID should be automatically incremented. For the first time, I want value to be 1. Okay? Then for the first time, value to be 1.
Hello. Okay. Then so there is a column called ID column. This ID column value should be automatically incremented. For the first time 1, next time 2, next time 3, next time 4, 5, like this. So the values of ID should be automatically incremented. So for this we use what? Sequence. I don't want to input the ID. That ID should be automatically generated. For generating the IDs, we create what? Sequence. Okay? Then. So mainly used for primary key columns. Mainly used for primary key column. The sequence is mainly used for primary key columns. Okay, then. So let's see. What is the syntax for creating the sequence? Create sequence. Okay. create sequence name, create sequence name. Then, so start with some value, Next, increment by some value. Next one, minimum value, some value, maximum value, some value. Next one, cycle. Next, no cycle. And cache size. So this is the syntax. Create sequence name, start with some value, increment by some value, min value, max value, cycle, no cycle, cache size. So this is the syntax for creating sequence. Okay, then next. Okay, no? Then. But if you see this, then all these parameters are optional. None of the parameter is compulsory. Start with is optional, increment by is optional, min value is optional, max is optional. All parameters are optional. So let's take one example. Let's take one example. So create one sequence. Create a sequence. Create sequence S1. Create sequence S1. Start with 1. Next, increment by 1. Next one, max value 5. Create sequence S1. Start with 1. Increment by 1. Max value 5. So the sequence starts from 1. Every time the value of the sequence is incremented by 1 and it generates up to 5. So the sequence starts from 1. Every time the value of the sequence is incremented by 1 and generates up to 5. So first I'm taking example with only 3. Start with increment max. So next I'll take this remaining also. Then, so create the sequence. Create the sequence. Oh. Okay. Then, so create the sequence. Sequence is created. Okay. Next. And after creating the sequence, I want to use sequence. I want to use the sequence. Then how? How to use the sequence? Next, using sequence. The previous one is creating the sequence. Next, I want to use the sequence. Okay, using sequence. And we can use sequence. We can use sequence to generate values for any field. Usually we use the sequence S1 to generate value for particular field. We use the sequence S1 to generate values for particular field in particular table, particular field. Suppose, for example, I'm creating a table. Create table what? Create table as student. Suppose say student table. In this one field is there SID, student ID. This is number 2, number 3. Next one, student name. Student name, varchar 2, 10. So now the table is there. In this table, I want to generate the values for SID. I want to generate values for SID. I don't want to input the values. this value should be automatically what generated. So for generating this ID, now create what's a sequence. Okay, na? Let's see what is insert. Now insert the data, insert into SUD values. For the first column, student ID. I don't want to give the values. If you want to input the values, use ampersand SID. You're giving ampersand means you want to input the values, but I don't want to input the values. So the value should be automatically generated. For generating the values, we already created a what? Sequence. Then what you have to insert into SID, sequence value. How to get the sequence next value? S1 dot next value. So whenever you call S1 dot next value, it will generate the sequence next value. For the first time, if you call, then for the first time, what value it generates? 1. For the first time, it didn't start with 1. Next time what? 2. Next time 3. Next time 4. Next time 5. Like that. So every time this is executed, it will generate the next value. Let's say, suppose what? 8. Let's see this. Execute this command. Now create the table also. First create the table. Okay, spelling. Now create the table. Wow. So table is created. After creating the table, insert the data into the table. So I'm inserting the first record. What the value insert into SID? For the first time, 1. So next I'm inserting second row. What is inserted into SID? 2. Next one. What is inserted into SID? 3. Next one. 4. Next one. What is inserted into SID? 5. Next one. 6. F6. No. Why? Because you said max value 5. So this gives error. What it says, sequence dot next value exceeds what? Max value. So it can generate up to 5. It cannot generate more than 5. So if you try to generate more than 5, then what this gives? This gives what? Error. Okay, then so next 3, 4, 5. So this is what like the next one, C, D, E. What this command gives? This command gives what's it? Error. Okay, na? Then. So this gives what? Error. 5. F na? When you insert F, then it gives what? Error. Because I said max value is how much? 5. So when you're trying to insert 6 value, then what this gives? This gives error. You can successfully insert 1 to 5, but when you're trying to insert 6, then it gives error. So this is how to create the sequence, how to use the sequence. So we created one sequence and we used the sequence to generate values per SID. So that users, they don't need to input SID. SID values are automatically what? Generated, auto incremented with the help of the sequence. Understood? So wherever you want to use sequence, just call S1.nextVal, sequence.nextVal. So what is inserted into student ID is sequence next value. For the first time 1, next time 2, next time 3, next time 4, next time 5, next time 6. But it gives error. Okay? Then now just go and see the table. After inserting, see the table. Okay? You inserted 5 rows. After inserting 5 rows, see the table. Select to start from student table, STUD. Now here, you see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I not entered these values are automatically what? Generated. For generating the student IDs, we created what's a sequence. Got it? Okay then. So if you go and see the table, select start from student, select start from STUD. So what is this gives? Student ID, next one, name, 1A, 2B, 3C, and 4D, 5E. That's all. Okay, next. But if you see this example, in this example, so we generated a sequence for sequence. Sequence is generated for every new student. We generated sequence for what? New student. When new student joins, so we are generating the student ID. Yes or no? We are generating the values for every new student. But suppose if you see, this is the employee table. Select EMP name salary from EMP. This is employee table. But if you see this, in employee table, employee numbers are not in sequence. Is employee numbers are in sequence? No. One is 73, one is 7499, 7521, 7566. Employee numbers are not in sequence. Okay? They're unique, but they're not in sequence. There is no sequence here. Not following the sequence. But I want to make this employee number sequence. I want to make the employee numbers what's that? Sequence. Employee numbers are not in sequence, but I just want to make these values what? Sequence. And what you do? But I want to make this value sequence. I want to start from 100. I want to, every time the value should be incremented by 1. 100. Next one should be 101, 102, 103, 104, like that. Then what you do? Create what's that? Sequence. Sequence S2. Create sequence S2. Start with what? 100. Start with 100. Next one. Increment by 1. Start with 100. Increment by 1. Okay? Increment by 1. Suppose I'll say max value something like this, 999. So create sequence S2, start with 100, increment by 1, max value 999. So then the sequence is created. I want to use this sequence for employee number, but not for the new employee. I want to use this sequence for existing employee. Previous, we are using the sequence for new student. That means you are calling the sequence next value in insert command. Okay, na? You are calling the sequence next value in insert command because you want to generate the value for the new student. But I want to use the sequence for not new employee, existing employee. Employees are already there, but their number is not in sequence. I just want to make this value sequence. Then what? Update command. Okay, na? Then what you have to do? You have to write like this. Update what? EMP. Set employee number. Employee number equal to. Employee number should be updated with what value? Sequence next value. S2 dot next value. For the first thing, it go to the first record. First employee number is updated with what value? sequence next value. What is the sequence next value? For the first time, 100. So it is updated with 100. It go to the next record, updated with 101. This is updated with 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, like that. So what are the differences? In previous, you are calling the sequence in insert command. In this example, you are calling the sequence in update command. Now 14 rows updated. Now see the table, EMP NO ename salary from EMP. See the table. Now see the employee numbers. Now the employee numbers are in sequence or not? Yes. Okay. Then that's how. So what the difference is? The difference is in previous, what calling the sequence in insert command. Next calling the sequence in what's that? Update command. So calling sequence in update command. Now, so first creating the sequence. Sequence is created. Okay, na? Sequence is created. Create sequence S2, start with 100, increment by 1, max value 999. Next one. Next. So, using above sequence, update employee number using above sequence. Use above sequence to update employee number. Let's say use above sequence to update employee number. Okay. There. So that's all. In the first example, we are calling the sequence in what? Insert. Next example, we are calling the sequence in what? Update. Okay. Then. Okay. But if you see this, both sequences, they are created with what? Start with increment max value. Start with increment max value. Yes or no? So the three sequences are created with these three. Next one. Next one. Let's see. Suppose here, then. No. So there are three mode. What are the three mode? Min value, cycle, cache size. Yes. Now, next one. There are two options here. What? Okay. Then, so one is no cycle, cycle. No cycle and cycle. Oh. And by default, then by default, the sequence is created with what? By default, the sequence created with no cycle. So by default, the sequence created with no cycle. By default, the sequence created with no cycle. So what is no cycle is? Default is no cycle. Suppose if sequence created with no cycle, then what? If sequence created with no cycle, then it starts from start with, okay? It starts from start with and generates up to what? Starts from start with, generates up to what? Max. After generating max, then it stops. So starts from start with, generates up to max. After generating max, then it stops. If sequence created with what? No cycle. So starts from start with and generates up to max. After reaching max, then it stops. Then if sequence created with no cycle, when it starts from start with and generates up to max, and after reaching max, then it stops. After reaching max, then it stops. Okay, then after reaching max, then it stops. Like this. So start from start with, generates up to max. After reaching max, then it stops. Next, if sequence created with cycle, then what? It starts from start with, generates up to max. After reaching max, then it is reset to what? It is reset to min value. It is reset to min. Again starts from min and generates up to what? Max. Again after reaching max, it is reset to min. So if you want to repeat this min to max number of times, create sequence with what? Cycle. You want only one time, then create sequence with what? No cycle. But you want to repeat this number of times. Okay, na? Min to max number of times. If you want to repeat this number of times, create sequence with cycle option. But you want to generate only one time, create sequence with what? No cycle. Okay, then so if sequence created with cycle, then starts from start with and generates up to max, and after reaching max, then it will be reset to min. Okay. So start with and generates up to max, and after reaching max, then it will be reset to min value. Now, so like this. So it starts from start with first cycle, then it generates up to max. After reaching max, then it is reset to min value. Again starts from min, generates up to max. So if you want to repeat this min to max number of times, create sequence with what? Cycle. Let's see one example. Create sequence S3. Start with 1. Next, increment by 1. Next one. Max value 5. Min value 1. Cycle. Cache size is 4. So create sequence S3. The start with is 1. Increment by 1. Max value 5. Min value 1. Cycle. Cache size is 4. What is this? We'll discuss. We'll discuss this later. Then, so tell me the sequence starts from the sequence starts from 1. So every time the value of the sequence is incremented by 1 and generates up to 5. And after reaching 5, it is reset to what? 1. Again starts from what? 1. Again starts from 1 and generates up to 5. Again it is reset to 1. Like 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5 is what? Repeated. So if you want to repeat this number of times, create sequence with what? Cycle. So if you want to use it only one time, then create sequence with no cycle. Then so let me create sequence is what? Created. Sequence is created. Next. So you want to test it. You want to test how it works. You can use it for a table. You can use it for a table, or you can use it for anything. Just I want to test it. Just display this. I'll call the sequence in select command. If you call the sequence in insert command, the sequence value is inserted into table. If you call this sequence in update command, so the column is updated with sequence next value. But I'm selecting, then it will only display. It will display the sequence next value. S3 dot what? Next value from dual. So what it will show? Sequence next value. S3 dot next value from dual. So this command will show the sequence next value. Okay, na? What is the sequence next value is? See this. What is the sequence next value for the first time? 1. Next time 2. Next time 3. next time 4, next time 5, next error, no, 1, 1. See that again it is reset to 1, 2, 3, again 4, 5, 1, again like this. So 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. So after reaching max value, it is reset to min value 1. So if you want to repeat this, create sequence with what's that? Cycle. Understood? So when it is useful, when this is useful when you are generating combinations. So sometimes combination is there. For example, vehicle number. Vehicle number is combination TS08 something AB. This is code, state code, etc. State code, area code. So this is one part. Another part is actual vehicle number 001. First vehicle. Second vehicle is what? 002. I want to use the sequence to generate this value. I want to use the sequence to generate this value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like what? 9,999. After reaching 9,999, I want to reset this value to what? 1. After reaching 9,999, I want to reset this value to 1, but with different code. This code, so I'll take care of this code by using another program. So this is, I use a sequence for this. I use sequence for this. 1, 2, 3, 9,999. After reaching 9,999, I want to reset the value to what's it? 1. So if you want to repeat this number of times, create sequence with what? Cycle. Understood? Create sequence with cycle. Understood, na? Because, so after reaching 9,999, again I want to restart from what? 1 with different code, but I want to reset this sequence to 1. Okay, then. So this is the best example where sequence with cycle is required. Okay, na? Then. That's all. So this is cycle option. Okay, then. Next one. What are the next? So what the next one is? What is this cache size? Okay, then. So for example, what this cache size is? I declare cache size. Okay, cache size. What this cache size is? Then. So suppose here, like 1 second. For example, what is the cache size is? Sequence S4. I'm creating a sequence S4. The sequence starts from 1. Every time value is incremented by 1 and max value is what's 1000. So max value is 1000 and min value is 1. Cache size is 100. Declare the cache size 100. If I declare the cache size 100, what does it mean? So sequence S4 start with 1, increment by 1,000, min value 1, cycle, cache size is 100. What the cache size 100 means? Okay, then. So, then, like listen, cache size 100 means, so Oracle pre-allocates 100 values in cache memory. 1 second. First of all, how the next value generated? Tell me. 1 second. How the next value generated? When you call bus sequence dot next val, whenever you call sequence next val, this value is generated. Sequence next value is generated. How it generates for the first time? What? For the first time, start with. For the first time, start with. Start with is 1. For the first time, it generates what? 1. Then what it will do? It will go to the database and it will store the last value. What is the last value? Last value of the sequence, 1. Again, you call sequence.nextval. Again, if you call sequence.nextval, Oracle goes to, when you call sequence.nextvalue, Oracle goes to database. What is the last value? 1. 1 plus increment by 1. 1 plus 1. Then generates what's that? 2. And what is copied to the last value? This is updated with what? 2. It goes to the database, update this value with 2. Next time you call sequence.nextval, it goes to database, get the last value. What is the last value? 2. Increment by 1. 2 plus 1. 3. Generates 3. Generates 3. After generating 3, and it goes to database, update this value. This is updated with how much? 3. So that means what happening? Every time you call the sequence next value, what happens? Every time you call sequence next value, Oracle is going to database, getting the last value. Last value is added to increment by, generating the next value. Next, after generating, again it is going to the database, updating the last value. Yes or no? So going to the database, getting the last value, that last value is added to increment by, generates next value. Then after generating the next value, so next goes to database, update the last value. So every time going to the database, getting the value, updating the value, this degrades what? Performance. Number of requests going to database what? Increases. When number of requests going to database increases, performance what? Degrades. Because every time it has to go to the database to get the last value and add it to the increment by, again it has to go to database, update the value. So the number of requests going to database what? Increases. Then this degrades what? Performance. Okay, na? To improve the performance, then use what? To improve the performance, use what, sir? Cache size. So what I explained is, this is without cache. Now let's see, I declare cache size. If I declare the cache size, then what? Like 1 second. I'm declaring the cache size. If I declare the cache size, then what? So, like what is the cache size you declare? 100. What it will do? Oracle stores 100 values in cache memory. Oracle will pre-allocate 100 values in cache memory. Oracle will generate 100 values and store that 100 values in cache memory. How many values are stored? 100 values. That is 1 to 100. And what is copied to the database? In database, what is copied to the database? Last value. What is the last value? 100. Last value is 100. Then, so next, what you are doing is, you are calling the sequence next value. You are calling the sequence next value. When you call the sequence next value, what Oracle? Oracle, it will not go to database. It goes to cache memory. In cache memory, the values are already generated or not? Yes. It go to the cache memory. Already the values are there in the cache memory. So just get the value and return that value. What is the value? 1. It will not do the calculation, increment by, etc. So already the values are generated, stored in cache memory. Again, you call sequence.nextValue. Again, request will go to cache memory. So already the value is available. So just return the value from cache memory. Next one, 3. Next one, 4. Like that. You generated up to what? 100. So once you generate 100, then what it stores? What it stores? It pre-allocates what's that? It pre-allocates what? 100 values. What it stores is, it stores what? 101. It stores 101 to 200. Okay, na? Because every time it stores how many values? 100 values. Because you declared the cache size is how much? 100. Then next, what is last value is updated with how much? Last value is updated with 200. This is updated with 200. Okay. Again, you call sequence.nextValue. Then it starts from what? 101. So it starts from 101 and generates up to 200. Then again, what it will do? So it will pre-allocate what's that next 100 values. What are the next 100 values? 2012, 2012, what's that? 300, like this. 2012 to 300. That's how. Sir, okay, na? Like this. So this is, now tell me what is the advantage of this declaring cache size? Sir, every time you call sequence.next value, it is not going to database. It is going to what? Cache memory. It is going to the cache memory then. So get the value from cache memory instead of going to the database. So number of requests going to database, what's that? Reduced. When number of requests going to database are reduced, performance is what? Improved. So why you declare this cache size? Just to improve the what? Performance. So what is cache size 100 means? Oracle pre-allocates, okay, 100 values in cache memory. Oracle pre-allocates 100 values in cache memory. And every time we call sequence.nextVal, every time we call sequence.nextVal, then every time we call sequence.nextVal, then Oracle goes to cache memory and return the value from cache memory. Okay, then Oracle goes to cache memory and returns the value from cache memory. So then, so number of requests what going to, number of requests going to Oracle are what? Reduced, and performance is what? Performance is improved. Okay. And number of and performance is improved. Okay, then now okay, now then so understood cache size. What is the importance of declaring the cache size? If you don't declare the cache size, then what? Every time it has to go to database. So, but there is a default cache size. Default cache size is what? Cache size is 20. Means, what the default cache size is 20? Means, if you don't declare the cache size, how many values it takes? 20 values. So here I am declaring the cache size. But if I don't declare the cache size, simply I give semicolon. Then how many values? How many values are stored in cache memory? 20 values. But 20 values are not enough. 20 values are not enough. I want more values. Then declare the cache size. I want 100 values. I want to store 100 values in cache memory. Then declare what? Cache size is what? 100. So then it stores 100 values. If you don't mention any size, by default it takes 20. But if you want more values, then declare the cache size. And one more point. This cache size must be, the cache size must be less than one cycle. The cache size must be less than one cycle. The cache size must be less than one cycle. Okay. The cache size must be less than one cycle. Means, what is the meaning? Cache size must be less than one cycle means, here, what the cycle means here? Cycle means 1 to 1000. Sir, cycle means what? 1 to min to max. 1 to 1000. 1 to 1000 is cycle. Yes or no? So this cache size must be less than one cycle means cache size must be less than 1000. It cannot be even 1000 also. It should be compulsory less than 1000. Now tell me cache size maximum up to how much? 999. Cache size can be maximum up to how much? 999. That's how. Understood? So minimum can be anything. Minimum can be 2 minimum. You can give 1 also. Okay, na? Then. Now, next. Suppose, for example, a question is given like this. What that is? This is sequence. He has given create sequence S5. S5 start with is 1, increment by 1, max value 10, max value 10 cycle. So he is given command like this. Okay, then is given command like this. What is said? The above command fails when executed. When executed, what could be the reason? This is the question he asked. The above command fails when executed. What is the reason? Okay, na? Then, so here actually, have you declared the cache size? Have you declared the cache size? No. What is the cache size? 20. But there is one more rule. What is the rule? Cache size must be less than one cycle. But here, what is the cycle here? 1 to 10 cycle. But cache size is what? 20. Then it will work or not? No. So cache size must be compulsory less than the cycle. Your cycle is 1 to 10. But cache size is 20. Okay, na? Then. So this gives error. See that. What is the error? Number 2 cache must be what, sir? Less than one cycle. The cache size must be less than one cycle. But cache size is 20, cycle is 10. That's why this command fails. Then what is the reason? Cache size must be what? Less than one cycle. Cache size is not like, let's say cache size is not less than one cycle. Here, what the cache size is? The default cache size. What the cache size is? 20. In brackets, you write 20. So cache size is not less than one cycle. This is the reason. Okay. That's how. This is about what? Sequences. Understood? Then next. Can we change the sequence value, max value, min value? Yes. What is altering? What's it? Sequence. The sequence sequence parameters can be altered. Can we change the sequence parameters, increment by max value? Everything can be changed except start with. So all sequence parameters can be altered except what? Except start with. Only start with cannot be changed. Remaining all sequence values can be changed. I want to change the max value. Then I want to change the max value. Then what? What is the max value? Altered sequence, what's it? S5. Max value is what? 10, no? So I'm just changing it to what? 100. So changing it to 100. Altered sequence S5, max value 100. So I'm changing the max value. S sequence S5 does not exist. Okay. We are not created now. Yes or no? No. We are not created, boss. Yes or no? But when we create, this is given what? Error. So suppose here, this is what? 100. The sequence max value is what, sir? 100. Can we change the max value? Yes. How to change the max value? Okay, na? Then. 1 second. So altered sequence S5, max value is what? Okay, na? Then. So max value is what, sir? 100. So can I change the max value? Can I change the max value? Altered sequence S5, max value what? Suppose 200. Yes. Altered sequence max value change it to what? 200. Any parameter can be altered except start with. Min can be changed. Max increment by altered sequence S5 increment by 2. Increment by 2. Yes. You change cycle to no cycle? You can change the cache size. Altered sequence what's that? S5. Cache size. Cache size is what? 100. Earlier it is 20. Now cache size is changed to what? 100. So all sequence parameters can be altered except start with. Only start with cannot be altered. Sir, okay? Then. Okay, that's all. This is what this is. Then. Okay. Sir, okay na? Then. Instead of S5, you say S1. Okay na? Sequence S1 is there now. Then. That S1. Okay then. Next. Dropping sequence. Where we can get the sequence information? One table. What the table is? User underscore sequences. One table. User underscore sequences. So this is the table that stores information about what sequence. So I just created one sequence. I created a sequence. Once again, I create a sequence. Create sequence S10. Create sequence what's that? S10. Sequence S10 is created. Okay, na? Create sequence S10. S10 is created. After creating the sequence, okay, na? After creating the sequence, I want to see the sequence S10 information. So display the S10 information. I want to see the S10 information. Then what? User underscore what's that? Sequences. Sequence name, min, max, increment by, cycle flag, order flag, cache size, etc. So if you want to see the sequence information, sequence name, min value, max value, increment by, like this. Okay, then so now what? Okay, now then. So I want to see the sequence S10. So what do you want to see? Min, max, increment by, cycle, cache size. So then you have to write the query like this. What is select what? Select what's it? Min value. Next one, max value. Next increment by. Next one, what? Cycle flag. Okay. Next one, cycle flag. Next one, what's it? Cache size. From user underscore sequences. But this gives all the sequences, but I want only S10. Then where what sequence sequence name equal to what? S10. Then what this gives? This gives only the sequence S10 information. So it will not give all the sequence information. This gives only sequence S10 information. So one, this is max, increment by, n means cycle flag n. N means no cycle. N means no cycle. What is the cache size? 20. Have we declared the cache size? No. If you don't declare the cache size, what is the default cache size? 20. Default is cycle or no cycle? No cycle. Increment by 1. What is the default min? 1. What is the default max? What the default max is? 1 into 10 power 28. What is the default max? 1 into 10 power 28. Min value is 1. Max value is 1 into 10 power 28. Increment by 1. Cycle flag, no cycle. Cache size is 20. So what this gives? This gives what's that? Sequence S10 information. That's all. Okay, then next, then this query gives the sequence S10. What the min? Min value is 1. Max value is what? 1 power e plus 28. Next one. What is the increment by 1? Cycle flag, no cycle. Cache size is 20. What is the meaning of this? 1 into 10 power 28. 4,500 is there. I can write like this. 4.5 0 E plus okay, na? 4.5 E plus 3. If I write like this, what is the meaning? 4.5 E plus 3. 4.5 into 10 power 3. 4.5 into 10 power 3 is equal to what? 4,500. 4.5 4.5 into 10 power 3, that is equal to 4,500. That's understood. So then what this is called, okay, exponential form. What this is called? Exponential. So the number is displayed in exponential form. Okay, then. Okay. How to dropping the sequence? Drop sequence S1. Drop sequence S1. Sequence S1 is what? Drop it. Drop sequence S1. Sequence S1 is dropped. Okay. Sequence is dropped. That's all. So this is about what's it? Sequences. So whenever you want to generate the value, then use what? Sequence. But in 12C version, sir, the sequence is there in old versions. It's not new. It is there in very old versions onwards. Sequence is there. But in 12C onwards, one is introduced. What that is? Identity. In 12C version, one is introduced. That is identity. So identity is also used to generate values for primary key columns. Next, this is also used to auto increment. It is also used to auto increment column values like sequence. So that means from 12C onwards, how many methods are there to generate values for primary key columns? Two methods. One method is what? Sequence. Another method is what? Identity. So there are two methods to generate the values. One sequence, another one identity. Okay, then how to generate example, then create sequence, identity, na? Then how to use identity? You have to declare this identity at the time of creating the table. How to create table? Let's say customer table, customer ID, number, customer ID number 2. But I don't want to input the values for ID. This customer ID should be automatically what? Generated. For generating this IDs, use what? Generated always has identity. You have to declare like this. Next, customer name, varchar 2 of 10. Customer ID number 2, customer name varchar 2 of 10. So generated always has identity. Customer ID number 2, generated always has identity. Okay, then, so let me create this then, but table is already there. Drop table, what's that? Customer. So drop the table. Now the table is what? Created. So generated always has identity. Next one, insert the data. How to insert the data? Insert into what's that? Customer values. But I don't input the value for ID. Input the value only for the name, because customer ID is declared with what? Identity. Then, so you have to say customer name values. Just give the values by using ampersand. Insert some rows. Insert some records. Insert some rows into this table. Then Next, A. Customer name is A. One row created. B, C, D. Next one, E. Next one, F. Like that. Now see the table. Select the star from what customer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, na? Customer ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I not entered these IDs. These IDs are automatically generated. That's all. So this is another method. So after inserting some rows, then so execute this command 5, 6 times. After this, just go and see the table. So customer IDs are automatically generated. You know, then that's all. Sir, if you want, at the time of declaring, you can also declare like this. Just once again, suppose I'm not creating the full table, just you can also declare like this. See, once again, drop table, what's it? Customer. So, okay. So this is a table. You can also create table like this. Then, but here, identity, here you can mention what's it? Generated always as identity. Then start with what's it? 100. Next one, increment by 1. So like you can also specify max value like that. Now let's say comma. Let me create this. So table is created. If you insert the data, then insert into customer name, values, ampersand customer name. Now, once again, insert into customer name, values what? Ampersand customer name. A. Sorry, here you said 2, but you said start with what? 100. That is the problem. So that is why what it is saying, value larger than, then drop the table. Again, recreate the table. Now this time I said number 3. Now it's okay now. Then insert into customer name, values, ampersand customer name. A. Okay. Insert the data. If you insert the data, then what value? It starts from 100. It will not start from 1. If you don't mention this, by default it starts from 1. But if you want to start from some specific number, then specify what? Start with and increment by. Okay, then. Okay. Okay then. So that's all. This is about sequence. And next class, there are two objects left. One is material attributes, another one indexes. Okay then.